Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Edwin Lopez, your farmer's agent here in Maryland. Today I'd like to discuss auto insurance, um, specifically what you have to have in Maryland, and then on the next video we'll talk about the different options you can choose on top of that. So in the state of Maryland, you're required to at least carry liability coverage on a car. That means specifically you're going to have BIPD coverage, which is bodily injury property damage. You're going to have UM coverage, or uninsured motorist, underinsured motorist, and you're going to either choose to or have or decline PIP, which is personal injury protection. Now the first coverage, the BIPD, what you will see on your declarations page are three numbers, and the state minimum is 30,000, 60,000, 15,000. You may have 50,000, 100,000, 50,000, or anything above that. You know, with the norm I see is 100,000, 300,000, 100,000. But basically what that means is, if you and I were to get into an accident and I was at fault for the accident and I carried BIPD limits of 100,000, 300,000, 100,000, if I injured in that accident, if that I caused, anyone in your vehicle is injured, I'd have $100,000 per person, $300,000 total for all bodily injury in that accident, and then $100,000 of property damage. Why that's important to know is because in the state of Maryland, again, the minimum you have to have is 30,000, 60,000, 15,000, which means 30,000 per person, $60,000 per accident, $15,000 in property damage coverage. Now, if you look around when you're driving, you're going to see that most cars nowadays are $40,000 to $50,000. That's entry level and above in some cases. You're going to see a lot of Teslas, which are $80,000 to $100 and some thousand dollars. You're going to see even Ford Expeditions that are $70,000 to $80,000. Do you really think that having $15,000 in property damage coverage is sufficient when you're driving around those cars daily? Again, you're not trying to get into an accident, I understand, but it's something to consider. So that's BIPD, bodily injury, property damage, per person, total accident, property damage coverage. Then we also have in the state of Maryland uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist. Now, what that means is if you are hit by someone and they're at fault for the accident and they're not carrying insurance, your own insurance will extend the limits of liability that you have on your policy. Again, why you shouldn't carry minimum limits, because what if you need more than $30,000 if you're injured? What if your car's worth more than $15,000? You can either choose to have BIPD and UM be the same, or you can choose to have one be higher or lesser than the other. We do have that option. Don't like to do that very often, because again, in the situation where somebody hits me and they don't have insurance, I sort of would like to have the coverage that I'm extending out for myself and my family. So that's BIPD, that's uninsured motorist, underinsured motorist. The underinsured portion is if someone were to hit you and their insurance wasn't sufficient to cover your damages, your insurance would kick in up to your limits, possibly the difference of what it costs. The last part of the base policy in Maryland is PIP, or personal injury protection. You can choose to either waive it for anyone 16 years of age and older, or you can carry full PIP. Full PIP has limits from $2,500 up to $10,000. And all PIP is in case you're injured in an accident, whether you're at fault or not, that medical claim or those medical bills that come out as a result come through your policy first. Yes, I know that sounds crazy, but in Maryland, that's how PIP works. Any medical claims that occur begin with your own policy. Now, it's important to note that PIP is a not at fault coverage, meaning that even though you're using it and it's paying out, it doesn't affect you in any way. There is no surcharge for having a PIP claim. Once your PIP is exhausted, if the other person or the other party is at fault, then at that point, anything above and beyond that would be part of their settlement to you at the end whenever they decide what they're going to give you. All right? So those are the three options that you get in Maryland on a base policy. BIPD, bodily injury property damage, uninsured, underinsured motorist, and PIP, personal injury protection. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to go over the options that we so easily call full coverage, and we'll go over each one and why you should consider them. And I'll even go over the people that tell me all the time, that they want liability only, why you might want to think twice about that. All right? If you thought this had some value, please hit the like button down below, share. I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.